So this is a short video on a device I made that moistens the moss for my leopard gecko. As you can see right now, his tank is dismantled. Logs down there, rocks are all over, plants are over there. So it's still a work in progress. But my big concern with me going out of town was keeping his moist hide moist. So I was thinking of some ideas aside from the spray bottle twice a day. And first thing that came to mind was an automatic sprayer, like so. Actually ended up opening one of them up, and it didn't work exactly like I had thought. But as you'll see, I still ended up using it. So what I did end up doing is, this is an automatic, battery operated air pump. It did have large batteries in it. As you can see, I retrofitted it to accommodate the smaller batteries that actually make this work. And what this is the chip that was in here, or the circuit board. So basically what I've done is I've taken the timer and the ability to make the motor only spin for a couple seconds at a time and put that into this battery operated air pump. So you're probably wondering, well, what does air have to do with anything in the moistening, especially all these tubes sitting around. So what it does is I set this to a certain time, which makes this go off for 5 seconds or so, which would typically spray, but instead it pumps air into the bottle through the top, and so then the air fills about that much more space inside, and where air can compress and liquid cannot, pressure builds in the air, which then forces the water, non-compressible, down, and only way out is through this little blue tube, which connects to this brown tube, which then goes into the log like so. So I'll quickly go over what this tubing is. This tubing is the insulation of a certain gauge wire. I'm not entirely sure. I heated it up in hot water and took a pair of pliers and yanked the wire out. It's pretty difficult. That's actually why there's two sections, but it actually worked out well because the blue in the cap and then the brown in the log, so it worked really well. And inside the log, there are 4 pinpricks within that small tubing, and each one is progressively larger, so that it drips evenly. So how it works, if you haven't guessed already, and if I haven't said so already, I set the time, which makes the motor go off for 5 seconds or so, every 30 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm not sure. Puts air into the bottle, pushes water out over the moss. All completely automatic, should do it a certain amount each time. So anyways, I'll show you. Let me get down here. Find a good angle as well. So anyways, okay, so there's the inside of the log. I'm holding the little switch here. I'm going to move it over and then turn it to immediately spray, which should go off in a second here. Should. There you go. So if I focus the camera, you should see the drips. So that just pumped air for I wouldn't even call it 5 seconds, into the bottle, but it was just enough to increase the pressure to force water through the tubing and out these little holes. Now you might ask, well, why isn't it siphoning? And I might say, I have no idea. It seemed to be doing that earlier, and it is not now, possibly because it is being pinched by the glass there ever so slightly, which is preventing it. Not entirely sure, but when the log was out of the cage, it did seem to. If it did siphon, it only drips out of the first hole. The first hole is in the last hole, which is the largest. So, nothing like it's going to flood the tank. I'll keep an eye on it, and I'm going to mess with the settings to make sure it stays moist, not wet. So yep, as you can see, dripping slowing down. It will slow down until eventually there's a couple of drips. That is RODI water, so it is reptile safe. So hopefully with him shedding soon, focus there, he will want to go into his moist hide, which promotes healthy skin growth or shedding, or however you want to look at it. So, yep, there's my little contraption, if you want to call it. There's the lid here.